Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And our next guest now is Rick Ferranti. He's the president of Home Care Services, Santa Clarita.
How are you doing? How are you
I'm
both
fine.
Doing? Good.
Welcome, Rick.
Thank you very much for having me.
We had a very interesting situation earlier this week. I spoke at Friendly Valley for Rick's group, and I had put in my calendar that it would be on the leap day of the year, and it was actually this past Monday, and here I was in Los Angeles dropping off my 94-year-old mother to her home, and Bernie Katz told Robin at the Senior Center, "Hey, you have a lecture to make today over at Friendly Valley," and so I had to hightail it back up to Santa Clarita, and I think it was a half an hour later.
And you should have seen me trying to stall.
Soft shoe.
I didn't know what to do. I'm like, how do I entertain folks? A little song or dance. I was horrible. For half an hour, I was horrible.
You were horrible?
Well, I'm not very good at stalling, apparently. We got laughing after a while, and then, come on, Dr. Dorio.
Hustle up.
And he, looking at the watch the whole time, like, what other joke can I tell,
Yeah, but think about it, trying to get from L.A. up to Santa Clarita.
Oh, yeah.
And,
well, when you said that, I was worried it could be another hour. You never know, right?
You don't know. And,
No, you never know with traffic, ever.
Now, I know your office is over on Cinema Drive, and once in a while, I peer into your windows and I see you're giving a lecture to people, and I don't always know and recognize what you're lecturing about. Tell us what your services are and why you should be lecturing people in there.
Well, a lot of the things that we do over there, that we have our Caregiver Resource Center. Yeah, it's right in the middle of Cinema Drive, next to Freshworks. And what we do, there's a variety of things, and we'll do a lot of times, training for our caregivers. We spend a lot of time in that, that realm, in staff and that kind of thing. We also have support groups, various things, even just related things that people come in and do seminars or workshops and that kind of stuff. Also spend a lot of time, and that's one of the things I really want to talk about today, with our committee meetings and so on for various nonprofit things and various things we're doing in the community. The big one is with the Alzheimer's Greater Los Angeles, and that's really one of the things I wanted to make sure that people are recognizing what's going on with that and the events and so on that we're putting on. There is I don't know how to describe it, a groundswell or whatever. There is a large group of individuals and businesses that I'm really proud of the fact that these are a bunch of people that don't just talk, they walk the walk, and are contributing in a really big way towards doing support, education, fundraising, etc., towards ending Alzheimer's disease. I'm sure we can spend some time in terms of what that means and what that is in Alzheimer's, but what we're looking to do is to try to build and add people to our committee to be able to do this. And we have a walk, not until September 17th at Bridgeport Park. And guys, I've got just a ton of people who are working really hard to put that on, and I'm really proud of that fact. All Santa Clarita. This is Santa Clarita. This is Bridgeport, just down the street here, right? This isn't in LA. This isn't a big deal. And what we're doing is putting this together for services and support for people and their families who are afflicted and touched by this disease. And it takes a lot of people coming out and going to the walk, and I'm going to try and come back out and push that as it gets closer. But right now it takes our community to come together to put it on. And to get sponsors and to get exhibitors and to get volunteers. And I mean, tons of businesses and so on that are doing that, and I'd like to just invite the public to join us. Try to end this.
So it's a walk, and not a run. It's is it a 5K walk or is it a 2-mile walk or?
Boy, yeah, there's a lot of marathons and 5Ks, and I think we'd get half the people, including myself, not coming because it's just too far. So, no, it's a very easy walk. This is truly, we have people out there that have this disease. We have people that are wheelchairs and walkers and so on. They're doing this. It's a couple miles. We just kind of go around a little bit on the Paseos there around Bridgeport and on to McBean and to that area. And that's just the walk itself. And then we have vendors out there, exhibitors, sponsors, etc., kind of ceremonies. It'll be a fun day. It's not the entire day. It's kind of in the morning and through kind of lunchtime. Still putting together the agenda, and I'll come back when we have kind of booked who we're going to be having there. This is our 4th year. And like I said, it's a lot of fun, and it's a huge cause. You guys, this problem with Alzheimer's, and I think Dr. Dorio, you and I have talked about it in the past. I'm sure I've come on here in the past. It's been a while to talk about what this is doing right here in our community with people, with their families, the care that is needed, the intensity, and just the devastation that this disease does to families. It's one of those diseases that is really tough, and we've got to find a cure.
But how do you find a cure for something like that? Well, because isn't it kind of, you could almost say it's inherited, or the tendency is inherited?
We don't know for sure. There is a genetic...
But it's not something that attacks your body.
Like a cancer would, for instance.
Yes, it's not.
To be honest, they don't really know exactly what it is. There is a genetic component, and Dr. Dory, you probably know that there is an increase of likelihood if you have this gene, but it is absolutely not one of these things where you say, if you have this gene, you have Alzheimer's, or if you don't, you don't. And it's not even close. So yes, there's a genetic component that elevates the risk, but it's not, that's what it is. Nor do they understand whether there is an environmental element to this, whether there's, just all these things. That's the problem. What we need is support to find that out. And then in addition, until we do, the Alzheimer's Greater Los Angeles does support groups, and we're putting those together at Friendly Valley. Same location you and I were at, Dr. Dorio. We have one at Friendly Valley. There's one at Oakmont. We're putting several together so that people who are dealing with that today, now, before this cure is found, and who knows when it will be, has that support. There's a hotline. There are resources to help people when they're in this situation. Education, that kind of thing. So that the Alzheimer's Greater Los Angeles does both, there supports those kinds of programs, as well as helping to fund research to find that cure. And what we need is people in this community that want to help with that cause.
But how do you know if people join you on this walk and they do the vendor thing and all kinds of things, the money that's made from that event, where does that go?
Great question, because that's a big deal with a lot of nonprofits right now.
Oh, yes,
right?
it is.
You look at it, and I'm just scared.
Does it go to salaries for the CEO?
Well, certainly doesn't go into my pocket. I wish. No,
but so much of the money goes to pay people's salaries and doesn't go for the cause itself.
20% is the number. 20% goes into, well, it's not just salaries, it's, rents and insurances and all the regular administrative, let's call it administrative. Salaries are included for all the people, including receptionists and people like that. So everybody that is labor plus all the other, everything else too. And then things like, if you're going to put on a walk, you have to have the insurances, you have to have the medical out there, you have to have the tables and chairs and different things and so that's part of the administrative. So that's 20% of every dollar that is donated and given to the Alzheimer's Greater Los Angeles goes to that, and 80% of it goes to education, support services, research, etc. All the other elements. That is exactly what we want where we want it to go.
But doesn't that still pay the salaries of the people who are doing the research?
Well, yes. I mean, you have to have researchers that do things, and so that goes to, when there's research, you're going to do it with a grant or some other means, right? So that includes the people, the material, whatever it is, that has to be done to be able to provide research. And that goes to various places. There's universities, organizations, that kind of thing. So it just depends. There's no only one place. So the Alzheimer's Greater Los Angeles isn't a research organization, but they looked, okay, where are the promising places? Where are the places that kind of are developing results? And then they choose to where to provide those grants.
Yeah, to go with that money. Now, talking about Alzheimer's, what is the difference between dementia and Alzheimer's?
It's a great question, and it's an important question because people need to understand this. Dementia is the over-the-top term. Okay, dementia can be one of many different forms. Alzheimer's happens to be the most common form of dementia.
Dementia, okay.
But dementia, it can be Lewy body, it can be several others. Dr. Dorio, all the other ones are escaping me, but the Alzheimer's is just basically one form of dementia. It just happens to be by far
the most devastating.
Yeah, and the most common form of dementia, by the numbers.
I see.
So when you're talking, the important thing when you're talking about it is, if somebody says you have dementia, or your family member has dementia, the important thing is to get a diagnosis to understand what that is, especially because you want to eliminate other things, right? So you want to know what you're dealing with here. So, kind of taking control of what your own medical, right? You're in control of your own medicine here with your doctor's help and saying, okay, what are we talking about here? If it's Alzheimer's, maybe it's not. Maybe it isn't even dementia. It's some kind of medication issue or something. But it's important to know what it is you're dealing with. And if it is Alzheimer's, obviously, you work with your doctor and you deal with the things that they can do, which there is no cure. It can't even be slowed, but there are some medications out there that can kind of help with symptoms that they've found some success with. So maybe that can be something to do. But it's also part of just planning. Hey, if we're dealing with an Alzheimer's situation here, we need to figure out how to help that. Our family needs to deal with it, if that makes sense.
It's interesting because from my experience, I seem to know people who are much older. Mm-hmm. And as you get older, you have a certain amount of memory loss, which is part of getting old.
Senile dementia.
Yes.
We call that. And no doubt about it, like Rick said, there's dementia is the all-encompassing label for memory problems.
Right.
And Alzheimer's is just one of those vascular disease, and there are many possible other causes. But and you want to make sure that you unmask the problems like medication problems that could make people think that you've got memory problems or even hearing problems. Mm-hmm. People who don't hear, like my mother can't hear, but we try to put her earphones on her, and we did the hearing aid thing, didn't work. But you want to make sure that the patient has a diagnosis. But getting a cure right now is, we look at the medications and we talk about big pharma and we say, they always putting out medications, but are they worthy or not? I'm a scientist. I have a master's where I know, I look at the research and I know sometimes these medications really haven't been substantiated. So I look at the other side of this is prevention. And since sometimes people who have high blood pressure, who have strokes, who might have kidney problems, who might have some kind of heart problems, you want to make sure that you're doing things to keep your blood pressure down, look at your cholesterol, exercise, watch your diet, make sure that there are things that you are doing that will help prevent the onset of it happening. Now, senile dementia, as you know, some people are just getting older. Sometimes it's just they're out of touch with the world. But for the most part, I think if you have practiced good health, you'll have a better chance of getting any kind of dementia.
Or pushing off. Yeah, absolutely. There is definitely a link in that element. It's kind of
scary because every once in a while I'll think to myself, I forgot to do that. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. How many times do you forget?
Here's what a little trick that we use.
It's a little scary,
One of the tricks I
sometimes.
heard of thinking of it is like, you forget your key, where you put your keys, right? And maybe as we get a little older, and me too, can't remember where you put your keys. That's normal. Okay, and as you get older, you're going to forget a little bit where you put your keys. But if you forget what your keys are for, okay. So we're looking at kind of that kind of degree, and that's a problem that needs to be looked at. Now, again, as Dr. Dorio said, and he knows, I mean, things can be masked. There's all kinds of stuff that's going on here, but address it. Find out, diagnose it, and then kind of go from there, as opposed to just saying that's just normal, because it's not. That's not normal.
That's interesting, because when I came home from the gym today, I knew I had just an hour to make sure that I got myself ready to get here. And I remember the house cleaner was there, and she was in the kitchen cleaning. And I usually put my purse and my keys and my sunglasses in the kitchen on the counter. Well, I didn't do that this time. I put it in the model room where Russ was sitting. And when I got ready to go this morning to come here, I dashed into the kitchen. Where's my purse? And I thought, okay, Barbara, what did you do with it? and then I thought, okay, retrace your steps. When you came in the front door, where did you go? I came around the corner and I saw the house cleaner cleaning the kitchen. I thought, okay, I've got to put the purse in there with Russ.
Now that's more normal. I do that all the time.
But it was kind of scary when I thought, what did I do with it? Wait a minute. And I finally, when I realized that, okay, Barbara, go back and retrace your steps. And sure enough, I went right to it. But it was so frustrating. And I think, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Scares you a little bit, Barbara.
It does.
Yeah, it scares me too.
It really does.
I don't want to get a new co-host. Just remember to arrive a little early next week, okay? And I won't be living in fear.
No, I'll be here on time, always.
I don't
before
think,
you.
But you're always here before me. I'm rushing in the door.
Well, you probably...
You have to stall like me, like I did on the other day, right?
Yeah, do that soft shoe.
So, like we had said, though, I mean, that is kind of normal stuff. What we're really talking about is those things that are beyond that. And we need to fight it. And I'm really inviting people to join us. There's a team out there. We're ready to go and fight this and to support the people that need that help.
And that's going to be September 17th.
Yeah, and we're right now today we're putting together. We're targeting and looking at businesses to help us. We're looking at people. We're looking for help and sponsorship and all that kind of stuff starting today, so that we can let people know in the community who's helping us. And I've got several people on our committee right now that I want people to know. Anita Smith is out there. Anita Smith Holmes. She's doing great stuff. She's taking time out of her day. She's got a business to run, but she's doing this for our community. Susan Parker at Panther Pest Control. I mean, she doesn't have anything it's a pest control. They do a great job, but that doesn't have anything to do with Alzheimer's. She's in this community. She knows she's got to support it.
That's right.
And so she's coming out and doing it. Susie Fox at Legal Shield, same thing. I mean, come and help these guys help the rest of our community. We got to get out there. We need volunteers. We need sponsors. We need people on this committee to help us. And you know what else, Barbara? It's fun. I mean, we're having a good time, and we're gonna put this together, and it's gonna be a good time out there.
That's terrific. Well, do we need to take a break? I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And we're speaking with Rick Ferranti of Home Care Services, Santa Clarita.
Thanks again.
Yes.
Tell us, I see you lecturing, like I said earlier, but tell us what got you into the home care service business?
Well, what got me into Alzheimer's, the Alzheimer's Greater Los Angeles, is being in that industry. I mean, certainly I have some, and I'm sure there's a lot of people. I mean, you go around, it's probably hard to find somebody who's not, their family hasn't been touched by Alzheimer's. And certainly that's something that, really kind of deeply, you get passionate about things like that. I'm also, just because at Home Care Services, we do in-home care. So really a big number, large, significant percentage of those clients that we work with are dealing with this at different levels. And so we're immersed in it literally every day. And it's the kind of thing that, so you're here, you're on a personal level, you have this, with my aunt, my other aunt, my grandmother, that kind of thing, certainly gets to your heart, and you really want to do something and help people that are in that similar situation. But then you go to work and you're doing the same thing, helping people that are in that situation more on a professional level. But boy, it gets to you, and we get very close to those families that are dealing with this. And yes, it's professional, but boy, you get really tight and close, and you want to help them. And boy, it's tough, guys. Alzheimer's can really kind of pull at that fabric of what a family is, and people, it because it's dealing with memory and things like, you go and talk to somebody and they don't know that they're your daughter, or that's my daughter. How tough is that? And so, the kind of things that we deal with is, okay, help me, what do I do right now? And, I've had long conversations, and we've dealt with people in a lot of extent, trying to help with that. So you get immersed in it like that, both on a professional as well as a personal side. You say, look, we got to help people, and we got to find a cure. It's those two things. And so it's my staff and myself, if there's one thing that we're sort of passionate about, is helping people and helping families through stuff, and Alzheimer's is a big part of that.
And the big thing, Rick, is that all our seniors, whether they have Alzheimer's or not, they want to remain in their homes. They don't want to go to a nursing home. And especially those who have memory problems, you change their environment, and sometimes they're done.
Oh, that's a great point.
So by assuring that and having the resources to be able to keep them in their home, that's what we need to do. And, it really should not matter even to what degree they have problems, because I believe one day no one will go to a nursing home. Everybody will have the opportunity to stay at their home, and the costs or whatever it is that are out there, we'll figure that out using our technology, using our the robots that I keep saying that we're going to have, the autonomous car, all of that I think is going to be there to help give us those resources that are necessary to assure that seniors do not live in fear that, they'll lose their memory and they can't live at home anymore.
Oh, great point. And that's exactly what we deal with constantly day-to-day basis. And your point of it being a better outcome at home is a great one, because that's one of the things that helps prevent, slow, those kinds of things, because there's no magic pill out there to do it.
Oh, there isn't.
But that's what these things do. And you make a great point, Dr. Dorio, that it's in home is where the best solutions are. And it's on anything, not just Alzheimer's, but in any situation for any senior that is that's where the best outcomes happen, is at home. It's just in Alzheimer's that is, kind of really gets highlighted. It's a challenge.
So I know that if people go to Freshworks or to Stonefire over on Cinema, they can look in your window and see you lecturing
Come on
to
in.
your caregivers there. But give us the exact contact information so that people know how to get a hold of you.
Sure. Our phone number, the toll-free number is 800-808-4777. And locally, it's 661-412-0710. And the website is www.homecaresantaclarita.com, just like it sounds, homecaresantaclarita.com. And, even just give us a call if you just want some advice. And also, if you want to join us on that for the committee to do something and not just
September
worry about
17th.
this. Yeah, let's go. Let's have some fun.
Let's do it. It'll be a great walk, won't it?
Yeah, so you guys going to be out there?
We'll helicopter you in.
I'll see you guys out there. I want to see you walking. I'm taking notes.
Well, see, I run, so I'll just try to
You just
stay
run
out
there and then walk and run back.
I think I've done that before. Okay. Rick Ferrante, thank you for being on the show today, giving all this advice and information to our seniors. We appreciate it. Once again, 661-412-0710 is their contact information. We are sponsored by Advanced Audiology and SCV In-Home Care. Listen to us next week on the Senior Hour. Now go and enhance your quality of life.